Hi there, I'm John of John's Carnivorous Plants. This is my indoor nursery, and today we are talking about why are Australian carnivorous plants so rare? Well, there's some very interesting issues here that I don't think many people are very educated or understand about. A, Australia is a very big place, and outside of both the east and west coast, it is very sparsely populated, which means the remote nature of most of the interior or the northern parts of the continent tend to not get as much attention or have as many people going out to them. It's also doubly complicated by the fact that most of the carnivorous plants, particularly in the northern part of the continent, only grow in the annual monsoon season where there's a bunch of rains coming down, and it makes travel, frankly, almost impossible unless you have a helicopter and have already dropped off your four-wheelers out in the outback ahead of time. Know this for a fact because I've talked to several field botanists up in that area, well, who've been to that area, and that's the kind of stuff they have to go through, is that they have to actually pre-plan their supplies and like their forms of transportation many months out before they're even able to actually go on the expedition to go find the carnivorous plants. For the other side of it is, it's not even just the aspect of them being remote. They have strange import and export laws in Australia, mainly because of, well, the history of various different animals getting released or different plant species being released and destroying the habitats there. Because of that, yeah, Australia and to some extent New Zealand are both very wary of what they allow in and out of their country. This unfortunately means that they are also wary of sending their own materials out. And it's a very lengthy process of quarantine and inspection on both ways, in or out, that tend to be fatal for most of the sensitive carnivorous plants, especially since given very few people in the world are well trained and versed in caring for carnivorous plants of various species. It can quite literally be fatal in an inexperienced person's hand for a month. Now, they do that as a way to also prevent different pests and diseases from getting in and out of their country. So it is a very responsible thing to do. Just, it's unfortunately a issue for us in the carnivorous plant hobby because it means it's much harder for us to get these plants into cultivation. Now, the other part is that the ones on the northern part of the continent have a summer dormancy as opposed to a cold dormancy, like we have up here in North America when most of our plants go dormant in the winter. A lot of Australian plants in the northern part of Australia go dormant during the summer when it's blazingly hot. And that flip-flop in, their growth habit also plays a factor in their ability to be shipped up here or survive the quarantine, etc. In that, yeah, it can be very difficult for a plant to suddenly adapt from the southern hemisphere up to the northern hemisphere. Particularly, this is seen with the tuberous Drosera of southern Australia, in that it could take them very, very many years, and I'm just putting it very bluntly, it could be for the lifetime of the plant. It won't flip over. But generally speaking, plants that are seed grown up here in the northern hemisphere don't have that much of a problem in adjusting to the different cycle of growth, so to speak. But plants that have already been germinated and have been living in Australia, whenever they get dug up and then, go through the whole import-export process to wherever they're going up here in the northern hemisphere, tend to have some issues because winter up here is 6 months, off from whenever winter is down there. And it does not bode well, timing-wise, because, well, the winter down in Australia is summer up here in North America. And as you can imagine, if you're used to growing in cooler temperatures, and now your life cycle is basically telling you that you need to grow during the hot point of the year whenever you're supposed to be dormant, it's a bit of a conflict and it leads to a lot of issues with some of these plants. Now, these are just a few of the reasons why Australian plants tend to be so rare. It's also very strange to me because I feel like there should be more Australian carnivorous plant growers given on how many carnivorous plants natively grow. They literally have quite a few different species of Drosera or Utricularia that are weeds down there. So I don't know exactly what's going on. I've been trying to pester some Aussies and figure out exactly, why isn't there more interest? Just seems that because they have them all around, why would you want to grow them inside? And have to worry about lighting and all kinds of other stuff, and you could just go outside and appreciate them. So it's good to note that a lot of them, because of their remote nature and because of their extreme growth habit already, are fairly well insulated from climate change or human interaction in the case of development and whatnot. So I'm not too worried about them in terms of them surviving long term. There are some species like Biblis gigantea and Biblis limulata on the western portion of the continent where they're very close to population centers. They are having troubles with human development, but overall they're, for the most part, very, well, rather remote and removed away from human population and rather safe in that regard. I hope this was informative for you. Please like and subscribe, helps me out a lot. Please check out the links in the description. One's from the Discord, one's for my website. Come talk to me if you want to on the Discord, or come to my website and buy a plant and help support me in the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you watch the next one. Goodbye.